Night 2, boys.
Right.
We're out here. Let's fucking go.
Alright, just got a crazy dopamine hit. I always call it dopamine hits when you get like a text from a girl that's either super hot that you just started talking to, or a girl maybe from your past that you haven't been in contact with for fucking months. Anyway,
revealing.
Remember that girl that I said in like a couple videos ago she strategically ghosted me?
Oh, yes.
Right. So, and I explained in that video why, you don't want to be petty. She liked my picture to break the no contact. All right. So when she posts, I'm going to like her post too. I'm not going to be petty or whatnot.
Of course.
I knew it was a situation where she's ghosting me to try to get me to be a boyfriend baiting. It's not like some other guys involved or whatever.
It's a very Knuth play, I would say.
So, just got a dopamine hit right before we're going out, cause looks like she just texted. I seen the notification 10 minutes ago. Keep in mind, we haven't spoken in months, since Valentine's Day, February 14th. That was the last time, so it's been a while. So just got a little dopamine hit. It's a big paragraph. I'm not gonna read it yet, but I already get the gist of what it's saying. So, looks like she's gonna be back in the harem. That's nice. But yeah. Well, you know what? I'll blur out the name. Here, you could focus on it a little so they can see the little bit of text. Focus on it a little. I'll blur the name. All right, the Uber's here.
Let's fuck.
We're heading to where? Ulysses tonight. Keep it calm. We did Little Sister last night. All right, so obviously it's the next day. I wanted to make a video on this topic in particular. I forget where I heard the term, but it pre-existed. It's called girlfriend baiting. And it's essentially when a girl is trying to lock you down to be a boyfriend or a partner, so she'll do something to try to get you to pursue and like show a lot of your interest. And so, if you guys recall, a couple of weeks ago, I made a video leaving the gym saying how some girl strategically ghosted me. And in a nutshell, after Valentine's Day, I had not said anything to her on Valentine's Day. And by this time, we had been seeing each other for like 8 months or so. And she was aware that I was also seeing other women. And she had been telling me over and over again that she's not seeing anyone and she really wants something serious. And of course, because I didn't intend to be her boyfriend, I'm trying to just extend the period as long as I can. I'm trying to tell her, like, yeah, like we're feeling it out. Because to be truthful, I was, like if things went well for another few months, there's a possibility maybe she could have locked me down for a little bit. But the point is, she was very clearly trying to make me to be her boyfriend. She wanted me to, be a serious partner. And whether you actually intend to be a serious partner or not, it is always in your best interest to try to drag out that honeymoon phase where you're not committing as long as possible. Now, a lot of you guys in the black pill community don't accept these concepts. You think it's completely black and white, like it's just all about looks, and it's not. You should really watch my video on sub-8 theory, and I tried to rename sub-8 theory to discrepancy theory, and you'll understand that the less discrepancy there is in looks, the more these types of things actually matter, and you still are dealing with true desire. It is true actual desire, but if you were to just like be her boyfriend right away, that desire is going to tank, and it's regardless of your looks. Now, of course, if Chad is committing to a low-tier Becky, like right away, that's not going to matter so much because the discrepancy is just so massive. So, yeah, there's nuance there. The point is, anyway, I try to drag out these periods as long as possible. One, to explore options with other girls as well, because there were 2 other girls I was seeing already at the time, and I'm still seeing now currently. And basically, you want to always just make sure, even if you could see yourself taking them serious, just try to elongate that period. It's just in your best interest regardless, because that period is going to be the best period. And the longer you can extend that period, the healthier the relationship is going to be. And we could talk about in future videos how you go about extending it, but today we're talking about girlfriend baiting. I just wanted you to understand the context of the situation. So this girl very clearly wants me to be a boyfriend, and I'm trying to drag this out for a long time. Here we are about 8 months in, and she's still aware that I'm seeing other girls. She's trying to make it clear that she's not the type of person to do that. And most women, if they have true desire for you and it's not beta bucks, but it's true desire, they really won't see other men, because women are hypergamous. They want the best man they could possibly get. They're not like us, where we just want tons of options to spread our seed. Now, girls who are after money and status primarily are very different, because that's not real true desire for the most part. They're the more pragmatic ones. They're the ones who are more like trying to explore as many options as possible. But when it's true desire, often it is that they're telling the truth, that they're really just seeing you. That's what they find most joy in, like pursuing actual love. Anyway, the point is, she is trying to get me to be the boyfriend, and the way she did this, the girlfriend bait, the boyfriend bait, is on Valentine's Day. She wished me a happy Valentine's Day. I had not said anything to her, but then I responded. I said, yeah, happy Valentine's Day to you too, and she didn't reply. And this already is sort of like an opportunity for her to try to be upset with me, you know, like it's a justified reason for a girl to act upset. Like, she might not actually be upset, but girls do this. They'll look for casus bellis. We use this term a lot, reason for war. Girls will look for reasons that would be a justified reason for them to appear upset. And so me not telling her Happy Valentine's Day or asking her to hang out on Valentine's Day, potentially being with a different girl on Valentine's Day, I actually wasn't. I spent it with my mother. Didn't want to make any of them feel too special. And I wanted to spend it with my mother, honestly. Anyway, she was acting, you know, upset by not replying. And I was like, you know what, this isn't that big of a deal. No problem. I'll double message her to make up for this or whatever, and I'll hang out with her. Well, she took that as weakness, and she saw it as an opportunity to girlfriend bait me. So what I really should have did is I should have just waited and not said anything, and she probably would have hit me back in a week or two, and it would have been no big deal, and I could have extended it further. But in the long scheme of things, it doesn't matter, because she just came back anyway, as predicted. So, I sent that double message. She saw this as weakness. She's like, okay, perfect. I'm going to girlfriend bait him now. Most girls, when they deal with a guy for 8 months and they suddenly ghost them, they're expecting the guy to always be like, hey, I know I messed up on Valentine's Day. Hey, like, I'm sorry. I really do like you and I don't want to lose you. You know, like a double message like that. And then you're really showing a lot of your interest. Not only would that be disadvantageous, but it literally wouldn't be truthful for me at all. I liked the girl, you know, but I had better options. So I was just like, fine, like, okay, no problem. You know, just not gonna pursue that further. But that was her attempt at girlfriend baiting. And had I had no options, as many guys don't have more than one option, then they're gonna make that mistake of falling for the girlfriend bait and over pursuing. And then she's gonna try to make you into the girlfriend. But this is a bad way to enter the relationship. You want to go into the relationship on your terms, not to where it's like from a moment of weakness, if that makes sense. Like, she should really be the one begging you for the relationship and asking for the relationship, but not in a threatening kind of way. Does that make sense? Like, it should be on your terms. She should be begging you for the relationship, and then after like a long period of good behavior, then you finally are just like, yeah, you know what, makes sense. After she shows some vulnerability and says like how much she would love it and whatever, you guys get the idea. You want to go into it on your terms always. Anyway, so because this wasn't the case, I just was like, all right, no problem. I'm just going to entertain these other girls and focus on my business, keep doing my thing, no problem. And I would notice when I would watch my Instagram story viewers, I would see her always within the last 23 to 24 hours. And that always gave me confidence that this was indeed a strategy, because she's trying to not be seen in my stories. If she's timing it perfectly to where it's at the very last second, because she's also assuming that I'm not checking these things much, which is, of course, what I like to portray. But between you and me, my real niggas, you guys know that like I actually will check who views my personal story, because I do want that kind of data. That is important data. And it's important data that she was checking 23 to 24 hours after the story, which means she has to be like checking my profile all the time. Or she's on Instagram frequently and I always pop up there, and she tries to time it then to 23 hours after that, which means I'm always in her head. So yeah, this made it clear it was a strategy. It was bait. This is something they do. Anyway, so I just got that dopamine hit last night because I got the text that I had been predicting I would get, and I just read it this morning, and it's precisely the same kind of verbatim that I would be predicting. And I want to explain to you now the next step once you get this text. So the first situation was the first like break of no contact she did a couple months after the Valentine's Day thing. She liked my picture on Instagram, and I explained in that video, don't be petty as a man and reciprocate that, because she's going to make a post soon after, literally all in hopes that you're going to be the one to like it. And so I'm not trying to appear to be like some guy who's trying hard, or whatever. I'm just blue-pilled guy. That's what you want to appear as. You want to appear as blue-pilled, retard guy who's enjoying life. That's how you want them to perceive you. So she liked my post. Don't be petty. As long as you know there wasn't another guy involved. If you are sure this is like a strategy, she's trying to get you to be a boyfriend, yeah, don't be petty and like her picture. If you have a feeling that there was a lack of desire, like maybe she wasn't interested in sex or, something like that, and you've been beta buxing, and you suspect that another guy may have swept in at some point, you need to evacuate that situation and have some self-respect. Yeah, that would not be something you want to pursue further at any situation. Even if you don't have options, I think you are better off just moving on. Anyway, a little bit of a tangent. Point is, after that reciprocation, you be the good blue-pilled guy who's just, being nice and enjoying life, not thinking too deeply about it. This situation you didn't take personally. You're not like jaded and you're not going to like her pic because you're like upset. Nah, this situation, you guys had fun for 8 months. Think of it like that, because that's the truth. You guys had a good time for 8 months. There was nothing serious. There was no strings attached. So she wants to come back. Well, yeah, for sure. It makes sense that she would ignore you because she wants something serious. Like, that's the truth of it. So embrace that truth and don't be petty. So I say like her picture. Now, after I did that, then I posted another picture. She liked that picture as well. And she's probably waiting for me to post a story or something so she could slide up. I actually haven't posted a story since then, but she just texted me out of the blue like a week after this. And the text was pretty much, like, I'll show it. The text was pretty much just like, hey, a bunch of stuff came up and all, because she's not going to explain that she's trying to girlfriend bait me, obviously. She gives like the normal excuse, like a bunch of personal stuff came up. It's not personal or whatever, but I'd love to reconnect. Like, I'd love to, catch up and stuff, which, you know what that translates to. Like, yeah, I'd like to see you and engage in intercourse, one of these nights when you're free. So, yeah, that's how people talk. That's neurotypical behavior, how people engage in indirect speech. Anyway, what am I going to do now? Am I going to reciprocate this behavior? Well, I think at moments like this, it's when you just act true to your situation. so you don't try too hard to do one thing or another. If you're genuinely really busy at that time in your life, you're seeing many girls, you don't have to reply right away. And that lack of urgency is only going to make her desire even higher. So that's my situation right now. I'm seeing other girls. I have a business I'm working on. I barely have time to take these other girls out. And there's another one who literally just hit me back this morning who tried strategically ghosting me as well from like 2 weeks ago. She had came back into my life. This is the one, by the way, I made the video on how Austin Dunham tried to hit on her and she actually rejected him back when I hadn't even committed to this girl. So very devoted girl. She deleted her Instagram and Snapchat and everything. Didn't delete the Snapchat, but just became inactive on it. Very devoted girl. But she, I'll have to explain the whole lore with this situation. She found out about another girl I was seeing and it destroyed her. And then she went back home, see her family in Colombia for a little bit. I think she got like a nose surgery done. And then she's coming back into my life. And then she tried to strategically ghost me when I went to Florida. I had taken like over a day to reply to her. And this is after she had asked if I wanted to go to dinner to like catch up. But I was sick at the time, like I actually couldn't. So I told her that. And then at the same time, when I went to Florida, I was really busy. So I left her undelivered for like a day. And I think she was taking all this as like too much disinterest. So then she tried to strategically ghost me again. And I was just like, all right, I'm just going to let her do her thing. And so now I just woke up. Ironic timing with these two. I woke up to 3 Snapchat videos. I've not opened them yet, so I am excited to see what those are. But I mean, I know how this goes. She'll be back in the mix soon. My point with it though is, with the 2 girls I've been seeing for like almost a year at this point, and then if she gets back involved too, and then this girl, it's like I don't have that much time, so I genuinely like I'm not pressed to relink with her ASAP. So I honestly might wait like a week till I reply to her. And it's not out of like me trying to get back at her or something. Like I just don't have time to link right now. But had I had time to link right now, it could also be fine to literally reply to her like the next morning. And the next morning, just reply to something like, because you don't want to reveal that you understand all this shit. You never want to do that. You never want to reveal to her your hand and be like, yeah, don't worry, sweetheart. I knew what you were doing. Yeah, I knew you were just girlfriend baiting me. Never do that. Never do that. It will turn her dry as the Sahara, make you look like a manipulator and shit. Even though you're not a manipulator, you just like understand the truth of the world, how things work. Well, maybe you are a manipulator. I don't know. I'm not even gonna. The point is, like, you could reply the next day, and you could just be like, hey, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. We were having a good time, and yeah, for sure, let me know. And then it's on her terms when she wants to see you again. Literally that simple. Like, you don't gotta send back some fucking paragraph saying like, oh yeah, I had a great time with you as well. We had so much fun. I found it so strange that, bro, don't. You don't gotta do any of that. Literally try to replicate the behavior of a blue-pilled Chad. That's what I always think of. What would blue-pilled Chad do? What would blue-pilled Chad do? And you want to try to replicate that behavior. Now, of course, like a lot of you guys in the black pill community, you're going to be like, well, a square can be a rectangle, but a rectangle can't be a square. Like you watch a guy who's like sub 5 try to behave like Chad, and it's not going to work. There's nuance, okay? Like, I am all for that mentality. I am all about living true to your biology, living congruent with your biology, right? But if you're a good-looking guy and you're doing well for yourself, maybe you're not Chad. For the most part, it is good to replicate a lot of that blue-pilled Chad behavior, okay? There's a lot of benefits to acting blue-pilled in general. Maybe not like super aggressive and dominant if your genes don't don't show that, like that isn't your aesthetic. Again, you got to live true to your biology. You got to understand your aesthetic, how you look and all. It's a bit of a tangent. I just wanted to explain this concept of girlfriend baiting and how to handle it step by step, because obviously it seems I've handled it perfectly. Now, you might be saying like, well, you're kind of carried by the fact of like your situation in life. And yeah, you know what, that might be true. But I'm pretty confident that this is the ideal way to approach it. If you're a decent looking guy and you happen to generate some desire. So yeah, hopefully this helps you in your situation if you get strategically ghosted. But I will end on this note. Remember, if you have even the slightest feeling that it's not a strategic ghost to turn you into a boyfriend, like she wasn't trying to cuff you, but she just ghosted you and there was a lack of desire, dude, just get the fuck out of there. Never talk to her again. There's a clear-cut difference.